It's been 3 years and 2 months since I was discharged. 3 years and 2 months since I discovered or I was diagnosed with clinical depression. Just earlier last year, 2021, I posted a video which was very promising about my recovery. I was talking about how I weaned off my medications and how I was very much in control of my emotions, and I was actually practicing a lot of the things that I've learned through almost 2 years of therapy, and I had it all going well. And literally I had no more episodes, maybe once occasionally, but I think that's kind of normal. I stayed composed and well for most of the time, and yeah, almost as if I didn't have this thing called clinical depression or major depressive disorder, or there's so many names for this thing, but at the end the most simplest and misunderstood term is depression. I hate to admit it, I fell into the trap of thinking, or I began to believe that I was cured of depression. That is one of the most dangerous things to do, to actually think that you have been cured from it, because you then leave yourself open and exposed to the possibility of relapse, of actually falling back into it now that you're okay, and you think like you kind of forget what it was. When you're going through it, it's the feeling is so intense, and it can be so bad until it paralyzes you emotionally, and you can't face, or you can't function normally like a normal human being. And then when you get out of it, you kind of forget it. You forget what it felt like before, and then you kind of forget it. And that's what happened to me. I kind of forgotten how bad it was, or how I could have felt the way. In fact, funny thing is, sometimes one of the things that therapists tell us to do over and over again is to actually keep a journal about our progress in recovery. And I'm not good with writing down notes on journals about what I'm going through. So in a way, I've been journaling my progress through this channel, these videos which I make. And looking back, I can actually see my progress from the early days in 2019, when I lost so much weight, and then I was still going through my frequent episodes and other challenges. I can watch it in disbelief sometimes that I actually went through all that. It's easier now. I mean, hindsight is 2020. It's easier now for me to say that, yeah, I think I could have easily overcome that, but it is what it is. And I failed to acknowledge that at that time I was in that state of depression, and hence that was how I was feeling at the time. At the start of 2021, after about 9 months without medication, about 1.5 years without therapy with my psychologist, I fell into relapse at the beginning of October 2021. What's the reason? I think I've spoken about this before. There is no cure for clinical depression. What we do is we learn to manage it, we learn to contain it, we learn to function well. We do our best to limit the effects of what depression can have on our daily lives. So that's all it is. There's no cure for it. We just learn to live with it, and I'm lost for words. I don't want to sound hopeful, but to live as if we are normal, easily accepted by society in a way. Limit the times when we have to actually explain ourselves to people when they see us not being ourselves. We do that on a daily basis. So I started my therapy again immediately when I was going through my relapse, and it was not like I could overcome it overnight, even though I had years of experience and training and therapy before. The things I've learned, I mean, nothing worked, and I really had to go back. And starting back again, it took about close to 3 months to finally feel like I can say I'm better again. So in that 3 months, I went back to my original prescription, which was Luox, but eventually that didn't quite work anymore, and then I moved on to Seroquel, and that didn't work either. So then, after 3 months of trying, my psychiatrist suggested I try mirtazapine. If you can see that. The kind of side effects I had with this was sleep was hard, my digestive system suffered, so I had to just get off it after just 1 month of trying. So that was it. There were times when I even had to resort to Rivotril, which is actually clonazepam, to actually get some sleep. But then when you have something like this, it helps you sleep, but the next morning the kind of hangover, yeah, it's not really comfortable, but it's better than not having any sleep. So that was my experience with Remeron. And then I was moved to another one. I was moved to another drug, which is this one here, Valdoxan. Agomelatine. After my switch to Valdoxan 3 months ago, the effects weren't immediate. It took about a month to finally feel the benefits of it. Oh yeah, and another thing, so my heart rate and my blood pressure was kind of high. So I was prescribed amlodipine to actually manage my blood pressure. I'm happy to say that since December last year, my blood pressure is stabilized, the effects of my depression has stabilized. I'm pretty much okay now. Today, my condition has mildly stabilized and my daily prescription includes 50 milligrams of Valdoxan or agomelatine, 7.5 milligrams of amlodipine. Occasionally, I'll take 40 milligrams of Rancid to actually control my digestive problems. Sometimes I have acid reflux as a result of taking these medications. SSRIs do affect the digestive system, so sometimes we need something to counter the side effects of the drugs that we take. So it is what it is. And occasionally I'll have 0.5 milligrams of clonazepam to sleep if I really feel I need it, not as often as before. I've also resumed my therapy sessions. At the beginning it was twice a month, and now it's once every 2 months. So it's just basically to monitor the situation, just to make sure that I'm still on track and I don't fall into relapse. Yeah, I think I kind of learned my lesson, which brings me to the end of this video. If anything I've learned from the last 7 months of the experience of relapse is this. Number one, don't be fooled into thinking that you're okay, because it's so easy to actually fall into the trap, especially when things are going well. No, that thing's always somewhere around. Number two, continue your therapy even if you're feeling well. Go back, see your psychologist, see your psychiatrist, and talk about things. Number three, be mindful of yourself. Number four, help others only after you've taken care of yourself. Number five, it takes time and a lot of effort, but it's not impossible to get on top of it. So I hope to post more videos soon, now that I'm feeling a little bit better. I've got some stuff in the works and some updates. Now that we are gradually coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, at least more people understand the importance of mental health. It is my hope that those people like me, or even worse than me, who have depression, can find it easier to live in this world. Maybe that's a little too profound, but that I've said it. I really wish that, after this pandemic is over, people like us with major depressive disorder, clinical depression, bipolar disorder, and other mental health challenges, mental illnesses, will have an easier time to live in our society without being subject to stigma or any kind of discrimination. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you all for watching. That brings to end my journal for May 2022. Take care.